You don't need to visit a gallery or a museum to experience art. Street art is everywhere, and it's not just graffiti and big murals. So let's wander the streets of New York City and discover the everyday art all around us, in the form of stickers and posters and random objects that probably no one intended as art. I will talk you through these lowercase a artworks, like the pretentious art director I am, telling you what I notice, what each piece makes me think of. Maybe I'll provide some references to other art, and hopefully in the process you will be at least mildly entertained. And the dream would be if this video can remind you to slow down a bit, filter out the noise, and really take in what's around you. Learn to see the beauty and art in everything. Wow, I'm so inspiring. Alright, let's get right into it with this first piece. You know, a famous art critic once said, "I don't know much about art, but I love astronauts and pretty women." And that's maybe kind of where this artist is at. They've got an Instagram handle emblazoned on her helmet here, and I looked it up. This artist is Mike Raz, and you can see what he gets up to here. So this is kind of a series of images that he posts around the city. I would say that, you know, the actual imagery here is maybe a little bit, as Lars Ulrich of Metallica would say, it's a little stock. You know, but I think what I find relatively interesting is the whole torso area here. She appears to be made up of these kind of unusual shapes, so at least it's not like a regular spacesuit. There's something kind of odd about this kind of hodgepodge collection of shapes that make up her torso. The other thing I'm noticing here is, and this will be a theme in some of these I bet, sometimes it's not about the piece itself, but about kind of the accidents that happen around the edge of the piece. So I really actually enjoy this like little number here on the side, the way it's like cut off like that. That kind of thing appeals to me, and it's the same on the other side with the kind of, looks like kind of tape residue or, you know, glue that's layered on there. I think that's cool. I like how the drips behind the image too are kind of interacting with the black ink in the actual piece. So those are kind of the things I notice here. I like seeing this lady around, and I hope she gets sent to the International Space Station soon. You know, I think that could provide some much needed tension and drama up there. So let's hope for that, and let's move on to our next piece. Now this I kind of like. I sense the slightest bit of sarcasm here, a bit of irony. I feel like the tie sort of suggests a businessman. I don't know about that kind of bowler hat. But I think the thing that's kind of intriguing is the bloodiness of this image. It looks like the clown nose is possibly bleeding, and then behind him there's like a splatter on the wall that is in the same tone as his skin tone, which, I don't know, looks violent somehow. Love the blood splatter in the lower part of the image, and the typeface chosen for the cheer up message is chef's kiss. Kind of strange the way the first E in cheer is executed. I don't know about that, but I love that sort of disco celebratory font telling people to cheer up. I feel like this has sort of a whiff of late stage capitalism to it. Basically it's telling you to cheer up, but I don't think it believes it. It seems to speak to the impossibility of cheering up, given the kind of world we live in, I feel like. So yeah, I'm kind of into this. I think the figure is quite clear, the way it's rendered. I think that white outline around the head and the way that then continues as the border around the image, that's a nice design element. It's well thought through. And yeah, cheer up everybody. Let's go to the next image. Oh right, yeah, so this, I'm actually familiar with this work, and if you live in New York, I'm sure you've seen these things around. In fact, here's another one I spotted on the same walk. These sort of soft, pinkish collage pieces feature a character named Phoebe New York, which is a sort of an alter ego of an artist named Libby Shuttle, whose name I'm almost certainly expertly butchering. But she is this incredibly prolific street artist who's had shows in galleries, and she's been featured in Vogue and all kinds of places. She's been doing this work for many, many years now, and I really admire the commitment. For me, when I first encountered these pieces, I wasn't that taken with them, to be honest. But there's something about the cumulative effect of them. Something I really like about them is that I feel like they bring a softer, more feminine touch that we don't often see in street art, because I feel like a lot of street art is kind of a critique of something. It's often cynical, there's a distance in it. Whereas I feel like this Phoebe New York series has an optimism built into it, there's something kind of starry-eyed. It's focused on kind of softer things like love and dreams and, wanting to make it in this world, but in a kind of smaller way. It feels like you're in this collaged diary of a real woman who's living life in New York and telling you about it on the street in this kind of beautiful way, and using what I assume is sort of magazine cutouts. So you have these kind of realistic bodies with this kind of iconic round head. Often she uses words. The message feels often a little bit simple and maybe almost naive, I guess. But basically, I feel like cumulatively these pieces provide a little bit of an insight into kind of girlhood in New York in a way that feels a little nostalgic too, maybe. Or maybe it's just that optimism feels nostalgic to me. I feel like I can't imagine having an optimistic mindset anymore about the world and about the future. Just kind of 2023 vibes. I feel like I'm looking at this in 2023, but it feels like I'm looking at it in the late 90s or early 2000s or something. So yeah, if you're in New York, look out for these and don't dismiss them right away. It's honestly a classic of this genre, even if it's still happening. I feel like this work is really part of New York City at this point. It's as ubiquitous as Shepard Fairey's Obey posters were back in the day. Let's go to the next one. Okay, yeah, I am so excited to talk about this one. I honestly, when I saw this, I thought I was blown away by it. I honestly think that this is a beautiful piece of art. I mean, take me to any contemporary gallery and show me something better than this. So first of all, this is, I think, a beautiful photographic portrait. The presentation of it on that insane yellow wall is stunning. I think the vertical tiling is awesome, because I actually assumed at first that this was probably 3 frames, 3 consecutive frames of a famous movie, and I figured this might be a famous actress that I just happen to not recognize, because I'm not great at recognizing celebrities. As it turns out, these are not 3 frames of a movie. They are in fact just the same image repeated 3 times. And it's also not a celebrity, at least not a big celebrity. I've looked into this, and as far as I can make out from the tiny type on this poster, this is a photograph shot by Eloise Parry, and the model is Ava Ferguson, who, if an article I read is to be believed, used to raise ducks in Tennessee, which is kind of awesome. But she works with a very interesting group called No Agency New York. They call themselves sort of an art-adjacent modeling agency, and the name No Agency is because they sort of started out, as far as I understand from this sprawling manifesto or whatever this is, it seems like they basically started this on a lark. They were models and other creatives, and they were sick of how things sort of work in the modeling world, and they kind of made their own thing, and I think in the process they ended up with a real modeling agency. To me, what elevates this is not just that it's already a beautiful portrait, but it's the application on this insane yellow wall. I mean, look at that contrast. And also, look at how the texture of the wall is literally bleeding through the poster somehow. It's like this weird organic porridge is happening, and it's fantastic. I think it's got kind of mystery to it, the way she looks off to the side. It's got style, it's got melancholy, it's got romance. I just think this is great. And it's made twice as great by that yellow wall. It's about how refined the image is and how absolutely aggro that wall color is. Awesome. Okay, I got one more for you, and this one might be a little controversial because this is decidedly not actual art, but I'm gonna pretend like it is. This is, I guess I'll call it an installation piece that I spotted on the sidewalk. To me, there's something delightfully generic about this. It has that utilitarian orange. The typeface is perfect. It is the font that you would choose for this seemingly important object that's been dropped into the middle of the street. This box is not just a box, but it's an island. It's an island called Highland, and you can step onto it and you are literally on high land. You're in this new country that hopefully has better healthcare than the one we live in now. But yeah, it's just a nice box. I tried to Google this and I found a Reddit post where someone asked about these boxes. I guess they had seen them in their neighborhood in Brooklyn, and someone claimed that it's 5G without providing a lot more context. I thought that was a joke at first, or else I thought it was just like a conspiracy nut. But when I Google Highland, they are actually some sort of telecom infrastructure kind of company, so I guess probably there is some kind of 5G equipment in this thing, and maybe it's, I don't know. Has it been delivered there by someone, and then someone else will pick it up and construct some kind of antenna out of it or something? I don't know. I love the little like rope handle on it as well. It's just a cool box, that's it. And look, if you don't think boxes like this qualify as art, I would recommend you take a trip to Dia Beacon. Dia Beacon is a well-regarded art space right outside New York City. And at the Dia, you will find works by Donald Judd that look like this, nice boxes, or even this one by Anne Truitt. So yeah, artists sometimes make boxes. I don't see why the Highland box is inferior, really. It's all in the eye of the beholder, right? Like, if you look at a thing and you get some kind of enjoyment out of it, let's put it in the art column. Why not? Alright, I'm gonna end it there for now. Let me know below which piece was your favorite, and I'll be back to look at 5 more of these soon. So if you want to catch that, along with other videos for creative people on these topics, then yeah, you know what to do. You've been on YouTube before. You know the drill. In the meantime, may your city wanderings provide mirth. Just a lot of mirth. May you have no dearth of mirth. Alright. That'll do. I'll see you next week.